Welcome to the Hoop Hysteria channel. The NBA Western Conference Finals Game 4 is underway, with the Timberwolves continuing to host the Thunder at home. In the first 3 games, the referee's calling scale was extremely strict, affecting the physicality and balance of the game. In the Thunder's home games, they won by 26 points and 15 points respectively. The Timberwolves' core players quickly got into foul trouble and dared not make aggressive moves, while the Thunder used sharp counterattacks to suddenly widen the score gap at critical moments and secure victory. However, in Game 3 back at the Timberwolves' home, when the referees returned to a normal calling scale, the Thunder clearly couldn't withstand the pressure. An awkward issue arises, as this season's MVP and first-team All-NBA member, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander struggles to perform in games where his team is trailing. The Thunder also lack effective half-court defense. Notably, the Thunder are the first team in NBA history to both defeat an opponent by 40 points in the same playoff year, beating the Grizzlies by 51 points in the first round and lose by 40-plus points, suffering a 42-point thrashing by the Timberwolves in Western Conference Finals Game 3. Additionally, all previous teams that lost by 40 points in conference finals failed to win the championship that season. Despite this, American media still overwhelmingly favor the Thunder, with BIA predicting a 91.1% chance for them to win the Western Conference and an 85.9% chance to win the championship. In the Timberwolves' dominant victory in the last game, their key strategies were seizing early momentum and their bench regaining shooting touch, which alleviated offensive pressure on Anthony Edwards. Many American media have bluntly stated that referees' calling scales should not influence the final series outcome, urging for greater fairness. At the start of Game 4, Jalen Williams hit a three-pointer, while Chet Holmgren made a jump shot and an alley-oop finish. Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels took turns hitting jumpers. Then, Mike Conley and McDaniels ignited a three-point barrage, while Lou Dort and Jalen Williams stayed hot from deep. Alexander began attacking aggressively in the middle of the quarter, but it was evident that referees had tightened the calling scale. In the latter half, Jalen Williams and Alexander led the Thunder to widen the gap, but Nez Reid and Dante DiVincenzo hit timely three-pointers to stop the bleeding. Alexander repeatedly targeted Rudy Gobert in mismatches, and Walker added a three-pointer. The Thunder led 37-33 after the first quarter, with Edwards showing no offensive appetite and passing the ball to teammates every time he received it. In the second quarter, Jalen Williams and Holmgren alternated between emphatic dunks, while the Timberwolves bench Walker and Reid took over the offense, gradually chipping away at the deficit. Isaiah Joe and Wallace compete against Shannon Jr. Edwards finally got to the free throw line, Walker hit another three, and McDaniels scored with a high post move. Alexander maintained solid three-point efficiency, but the Timberwolves committed to many turnovers. At halftime, the Timberwolves trailed 57-65, with Edwards managing only 4 points and 2 assists. In the third quarter, Alex Caruso opened with a three-pointer, followed by Edwards' layup and Conley's three-point play to force a Thunder timeout. Gobert added a tomahawk dunk. In a critical moment, Alexander made a layup and a step-back three to steady the Thunder. Midway through, Walker and DiVincenzo sparked a three-point surge to tie the game. Wallace and Caruso combined for inside and outside scores. Walker added a layup, and Edwards drew fouls. After 3 quarters, the Timberwolves trailed 85-90. In the decisive fourth quarter, Reid's dunk and Walker's layup kept the Timberwolves bench hot. Holmgren and Walker traded three-pointers. Midway through, Alexander drew an offensive foul on Edwards. Edwards, DiVincenzo, and McDaniels hit 3 consecutive three-pointers to cut the deficit to 2 points. Caruso's layup stopped the bleeding, and Jalen Williams' three-pointer forced a Timberwolves timeout. In the final 3 minutes, Jalen Williams dominated inside and out, while McDaniels and Walker fought to keep the game close. McDaniels' three-pointer kept the Timberwolves alive. With 17 seconds left, Alexander made both free throws after being fouled, extending the lead to 4 points. Gobert's putback cut it to 2, but Alexander made one of 2 free throws, giving the Thunder a chance to seal the game with foul tactics. Finally, the Thunder won 128-126 in a nail-biter, taking a 3-1 lead in the series and securing a match point. They are now one win away from the Western Conference Championship and the Finals. Compared to the Thunder's dominant home wins, they struggled in the Timberwolves arena, primarily due to a significant reduction in free throws. The Timberwolves' constant trailing throughout the game was linked to Edwards' lack of offensive aggression. While the Timberwolves have more scoring threats, their fatal flaw is the lack of scoring consistency from role players. After 4 games, both teams have reached a stage of raw competitiveness. A key reason the Thunder couldn't pull away was their limited free throw opportunities, possibly due to the controversy over Alexander's air whistles in previous games. In the Timberwolves' home games, referees chose to tighten physicality, making the Thunder's high-pressure defense less effective. However, compared to the Timberwolves' balanced scoring, the Thunder have fewer scoring options, and Alexander himself was inefficient 13 of 30 shooting with 14 free throws. That said, Jalen Williams was clutch in critical moments, with he and Caruso delivering standout performances. Of course, young stars' rise often sparks controversy. A prime example is the 2021 Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo achieved career Grand Slam that year, but in the playoff series against the Nets, beyond Giannis' ankle-breaking foul on Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant's foot-on-the-line three-pointer, the post-game referee reports for the final 3 games all favored the Bucks, including multiple ignored violations on Giannis' inbound passes. It was seen as the league pushing Giannis to succeed LeBron James. However, the Bucks' playoff performance has since declined, and Giannis might even leave the team this offseason, leaving the league's pushing narrative in disarray. Alexander, averaging 30.7 points, 5 rebounds, and 6.4 assists in the regular season, not only locked in a unanimous first-team All-NBA selection, but also surpassed Nikola Jokic to become the new MVP and league face. With the Thunder's 87% championship probability leading all teams, he could become the 4th player in NBA history after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, and Shaquille O'Neal to win scoring title, championship, MVP, and FMVP in the same season. However, his public image is heavily criticized. American media have coined nicknames like Free Throw King, Begging MVP, and Referee's Sweetheart, with every team that has faced the Thunder complaining about his free throw advantages. While Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's regular season average of 8.8 free throws per game and 9.2 in the playoffs may not seem excessive, they drastically alter the physicality and balance of play. Since the round against the Nuggets, the Thunder are 4-1 when Alexander draws 10 free throws in a game, but just 2-3 when he doesn't. In recent years, the NBA has had no shortage of foul-drawing masters: James Harden, Joel Embiid, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, even Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jimmy Butler. Yet none have sparked such widespread controversy as Alexander. There's nothing inherently wrong with drawing fouls. During his Rockets days, Harden would often hook opponents' arms on drives, forcing referees to whistle calls even without clear contact, leaving defenders no choice but to tuck their arms behind their backs. As a superstar, Harden's hair splitters were accepted as part of the star treatment, but a significant portion of Alexander's free throws come from air whistles. He makes exaggerated expressions before opponents even make contact, and referees oblige with calls. According to US media calculations, in his 7 games versus Denver and 4 versus Minnesota, Alexander's 110 total free throws included the equivalent of nearly 30 air whistles. When referees officiate fairly and Alexander doesn't get those extra trips to the line, the Thunder can get rooted like their 42-point loss to Minnesota or Game 3 versus Denver, where he shot 7 of -22 with no whistle protection, scoring just 18 points. In normal physical play, he struggles to break double teams and can't deliver in clutch moments, often deferring instead of taking key shots. During regular play, his primary scoring relies on fast breaks and foul drawing, lacking consistent half-court efficiency or the ability to string together scores. While he takes many mid-range shots, they're mostly in blowout situations. Make no mistake, Alexander is a top 5 NBA talent, but not yet a true league MVP caliber face of the league. If the NBA elevates him through officiating favoritism, it will only stunt his growth. He'll earn respect when he develops a reliable three-point shot and stops relying on air whistles to tilt games. That said, his game for stats: 40 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists marked him as just the fourth player in Western Conference Finals history to post such numbers. From the G1 air whistle controversy to tighter officiating in games 2 to 3. Then 14 free throws, including 6 in foul tactics in Game 4 where he hit the floor 3 times in 1 minute yet drew only one whistle for armbar foul. It's clear he didn't receive excessive favoritism. As the newly crowned MVP and the league's chosen face, he must evolve to lead through adversity, even when calls don't go his way. Shooting 13 of 30 isn't efficient, but his 40 points stabilized the offense. Now he needs to gradually earn back respect. For the Timberwolves, their bench shone brightly. Rookie Shannon Jr. continued his aggressive play despite minor injuries, while three-point threats Walker and Dante DiVincenzo forced the Thunder to expand their defense. But Edwards lacked offensive aggression, and Julius Randle had another dismal game, getting benched in the fourth quarter. When a team's two leaders can't sustain scoring, winning becomes nearly impossible. The Timberwolves must confront two harsh realities. 1. The art of officiating. In Oklahoma City's home games, the Thunder drew 50 free throws to Minnesota's 47, with similar foul counts. But critical moments saw Timberwolves stars like Jaden McDaniels and Rudy Gobert pick up early fouls, only for garbage-time free throws to balance the stats. The result? Minnesota players feared physicality, violating playoff-level intensity standards. In Minnesota's home games, the Thunder had 39 total free throws including late foul tactics calls in Game 4. When refs stopped coddling Alexander, games at least went down to the wire, decided by players, not whistles. To Edwards' feet limitations. Through 3 West Finals games, he's averaging 26.7 points, but just 18 in G1 and 16 5-13 shooting, 1-7 from 3, 5 turnovers in Game 4, invisible in the first half. Was he trying to keep teammates involved or lacking aggression? The second half brought no explosion, only more mistakes, like his fourth quarter offensive foul. Relying solely on three-pointers and driving, he gets no superstar whistles, leading to wild scoring swings. This offseason, he must develop mid-range and post-up finish. The truth is, these teams aren't evenly matched. Edwards' limited toolkit and the Timberwolves' lack of a reliable second star. Randle shot 1-7 for 5 points with 5 turnovers, outshone by role players like Nez Reid exposed their ceiling. Beating a Lakers team or a Warriors team without Stephen Curry. That was luck. Oklahoma City's Jalen Williams 30 for points in a must-win game and overall roster depth show why they're 3-1 up. Not officiating, but genuine title contender talent.